Hi everybody! Welcome to my channel, Fog and Fern. My name is Nancy and I'm here today to talk to you about this guy. This is my very large Boston Fern. And I just want to share just my experiences on growing a fern to get to this size in my house, no grow lights, au naturel, and and additionally I'm hoping that this is going to be the first of a series on ferns that I'm hoping to put out every Friday, just on one plant, one fern each time. And so my hope is that these videos are going to remain short. It's kind of hard for me to do because I really get into my plants because I really love them. But yeah, I just want to showcase one fern, one a week, one on Friday, and help in case there's any other fern heads like me that are interested in growing this beautiful genus of plants. That I kind of think get a little bit overlooked sometimes. They get a little bit of a bad rap because people think ferns are really difficult to care for. They're really not. They're pretty hardy plants in my experience. So so just a little bit about ferns. These are some of the very first plants ever to be on our planet. It's pretty mind-blowing. They're kind of prehistoric. So they don't propagate in ways, for example, like other plants. Ferns will reproduce through spores that grow on the back of their fronds. So these are not stems per se, like a lot of other plants. These are called fronds. And the spores will grow on the backs of the fronds. Kind of freaks people out sometimes. They think it's pests. It's not. In fact, ferns are quite pest resilient, which to me is a testament to their evolution, their resilience, and their hardiness. So yeah, they have a very different system. They're a very different plant. And I think it just goes to show that they've stood the test of time. So in many ways, ferns are considered a prototype. Pretty wild, as in one of the first plants ever. I think that's just amazing. Anyway, they kind of look a little prehistoric when you look at a lot of ferns as well. Just keep that in your mind next time that you are looking at your beautiful fern or you're considering buying a fern. That's pretty sweet. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into it with this Boston Fern. So this Boston Fern is ginormous. I bought it back in 2019. I got it from a box store. I will share that. I don't usually buy a lot of plants from box stores. I try to support local as much as I can. But it was one of the first plants I got for this house that I live in. This house, I moved in here in 2018. And so, mid-2018. So yeah, I bought it. This was my first time ever having a Boston Fern. So I didn't know much about it. I didn't know where to put it. So I put it in my bathroom. I hung it up. I'll insert some pictures in this video somewhere along the way so you can see where I have it hung up. It's always been in that place. But it certainly has really grown from the 10-inch pot to the pot that it's in right now, which is a 15-inch pot. So that's pretty large. In fact, if this plant gets much larger, I'm actually considering dividing it because that's a lot of weight. I don't know how much this weighs, but it's a lot of weight coming from my ceiling. So I just want to be safe, but I check the hook and the beam situation out often, and it's doing fine. So it might be just me being a little bit paranoid. Anyway, I thought I'd start out by proving that this plant is as big as I claim that it is. So it's a two by two plant, I'm telling you. So the biggest part of the plant obviously is the front, because it gets the most indirect light. I can't even get this fern completely in this video. That's how wild this is. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so just let me measure this out again. And yeah, so the 2 foot, I don't know if you can see the very end of the frond that I'm measuring to. My hand might be in the way. There's a frond over there. It's the widest. It is 2 feet, so 30 inches. So it's over, it's actually over 2 feet long, tipping the 3 foot mark. That's how wide the plant is. How tall it is. This fern is very low. The 2 foot mark is right here. Like right here. So it's over 2 feet tall. This plant is 29 inches tall. So that's well over 2 feet wide, 2 feet tall. How did I grow this plant from a 10-inch to a 15-inch to being 2 feet tall and 2 feet wide? Well, as you can see in the picture that I'm inserting with where the plant is located, it sits in my very sunny, but it's bright and direct light bathroom. Heat rises, of course, so this bathroom is upstairs. It's on the corner of a south-facing, west-facing, southeast-facing window, so I've got a lot of heat going on in that bathroom. All year, well, not all year, the winter, no, but in the summer, that place, spring even, it gets very steamy up there. Of course, it's the bathroom to my ensuite, though myself and my husband are always taking our baths. The children are taking their baths up there, so always there's water going on, water being used, and it's a small bathroom, so the moisture really hangs in the air. Now, ferns also like cool air, some of them. This one does. So in the nighttime, that bathroom can actually get quite cold. I'd say about 16 degrees Celsius. So it gets a bit of cool air in the nighttime. So it gets bright indirect light in a humid space. It's in the corner, as you can see in the picture, so there's no direct sun rays hitting this plant. That is a part of its care. These plants don't like direct light hitting their fronds. So what direct light means is if you see sunlight hitting, sun rays, like coming from the window, hitting the fronds of your Boston fern, that is direct light, or any of your plants for that matter. That's what direct light can be defined or understood as. So just know that when you're looking up the care for your plants. So it doesn't get any direct light, but tons of very bright and direct light. And like I said, that high humidity, it gets cool evenings. I don't really fertilize this plant. Ferns, they don't really need it in my experience. Of course, I did fertilize it once last summer. I don't think it needed to be fertilized, but I did. I was curious, you know. And So, but if you want to fertilize, give them a quarter strength of your fertilizer. I mean, that's just what I do. I'm just sharing my experiences. I'm certainly not a pro at growing houseplants or anything. I'm not formally trained in this. This is just my, like, 8 years experience of keeping houseplants and learning about houseplants. So yeah, that's about fertilizer. Now, the number one thing I find about ferns to keep them healthy and strong is moisture, the watering, getting the watering right. These guys like to be consistently moist, not sogged. You can overwater a fern. You can overwater Boston fern. So the difference between, I try to understand it this way. A moist plant and a sogged plant is, say if you took a dish, like a dishcloth you're washing your dishes with, and you wring it out and there was no water dripping from the cloth. You put your hand on the cloth, you can tell that it's not damp. It's more than damp, but it's not soaking. So when you take your hand off it, your hand is not like super wet. That's what moist is, right? You can't when you wring the cloth out, there's no water coming out, but it's more than just damp. But it's not sogged where water would be coming out of the cloth. I think there's, in my experience talking with people with Boston fern, a lot of people do overwater their Boston fern for fear that the plant will defoliate, which it does when it doesn't get enough moisture. So that's what happens. You will see that I will take a video shot of the back of this plant. It doesn't get the same light or, I guess, watering too. She's pretty big. I don't take her down when I water her. So there's like crispies on the back, and sometimes along the edge of the plant, you can see, so this is real world experience. There's no perfect plants. Like, look at that, right? I gotta clean her up. So when before I put her back up, my husband's gonna put her back up for me because I can't lift this. I will make sure that all of this crispy stuff is taken out. But if I'm sticking my finger down in the soil here, and she's the full of this 15-inch pot. That's wild. She's nice and moist. The plant is moist. She's not soggy. She's not dry. When I take my finger out, like, soil sticks to my fingers, so it's not dry. Dry soil doesn't stick to your fingers. So moist soil does. Right? And not even sogged soil when you think about it. Sogged soil just doesn't stick to your finger, it's wet, soggy. So there's crispies, but you can't get a perfect plant. I don't really go for perfection in my plant, but I think that you can say that this plant is doing well. So it doesn't matter if there's some crispies, little crispy ferns. So yeah, that's about the Boston fern. The one last thing I'm going to quickly mention is misting. I gave it up. Yeah. Some people swear by misting. Last summer, I went around misting my plants, misting my plants. What I ended up with was fungus gnats. Nobody wants those. There was just too much moisture in my plants all the time. I do think I live in a pretty humid house. I don't have a humidifier or a humidity index tool. I'm gonna get one of those, but it doesn't work out always. And I think, I've read and I've researched into this, and it just really creates a microclimate of humidity for a few seconds. It's not doing much, really, unless you just really like doing it. But I'm not a mister. It leads to pests and fungal issues for your plants. That's just not what I do. So you take that with a grain of salt, because this is just me sharing my experience. It's not everybody else's experience, but that's just where I stand on the misting issue. I don't even mist my calathea. I don't do it. I just put them in my bathroom, and that works out for me. So yeah, I think that this is all that I have to say about my Boston Fern. So I'm looking forward to creating more videos on ferns. I have 13 varieties of ferns. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, I'm lying. I have 10 varieties of ferns, and I have 13 ferns, because I have more than one for a couple of those plants. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something about Boston Fern. And yeah, I hope that you give this plant a shot. I hope you give ferns a shot. They're so underrated. They're so underrated. Look at how fluffy this plant is. I need to fluff you more. I really love you. Bye. Okay, so that's it. Thanks everybody. Hey, and if you would be so kind, I would love it if you gave this video a like. That means that I know that you're gonna be enjoying Fern Fridays, and you're enjoying this video. Please subscribe. I am so grateful for everybody who has subscribed so far, and it really helps my channel out. I want to see it grow, and give me a comment down below. I love interacting with you guys. Do you have a fern? Do you want a fern? Did you kill a fern? What's your favorite fern? Just share with me your experiences with fern, or even Boston Fern. I'd love to know. So leave a comment below, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. That's just not what I do. So you take that with a grain of salt, because this is just me sharing my experience. It's not everybody else's experience, but that's just where I stand on the misting issue. I don't even mist my calathea. I don't do it. I just put them in my bathroom, and that works out for me. So I'm looking forward to creating more videos on ferns. I have 10 varieties of ferns, and I have 13 ferns, and I have more than one for a couple of those plants. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something about Boston Fern. And yeah, I hope that you give this plant a shot. I hope you give ferns a shot. They're so underrated. They're so underrated. Look at how fluffy this plant is. I need to fluff you more. I really love you. Bye. Okay, so that's it. Thanks everybody. Hey, and if you would be so kind, I would love it if you gave this video a like. That means that I know that you're going to be enjoying Fern Fridays, and you're enjoying this video. Please subscribe. I am so grateful for everybody who has subscribed so far, and it really helps my channel out. I want to see it grow, and give me a comment down below. I love interacting with you guys. Do you have a fern? Do you want a fern? Did you kill a fern? What's your favorite fern? Just share with me your experiences with fern, or even Boston Fern. I'd love to know. So leave a comment below, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.